Okay, so this is a circle unit. Your notes yesterday everyone's like, it says 11 point, but if you read it, that's the theorem, that's not the section. So we had to review that. Should have been a review, but it maybe wasn't a review, whatever. We're not going to debate that. So all of these, it's just a circle unit, okay? I'm bringing things from different chapters to keep all the circle stuff together, okay? So the definition of a circle, we have the equation. I think my red is running out. Of a circle. At, that's an at sign, the origin. Now, we've talked about origin before. I'm going to remind you, what is the origin? Origin is where? Where would you describe this point on this graph?
Median.
No, on this graph, where is that point? What? Here's the graph. X, Y. What is that point? 0. 0, 0 is the origin. If you don't know the origin is 0, 0, you need to put it 0, 0. Okay? You need to know that word. It's the origin of a coordinate plane because they both start at 0. Yes? And go left, right, and up, down. That equation is r squared equals x squared plus y squared. What does r stand for? Radius. Okay? What does that look like that we've been using? Pythagorean theorem. It is the Pythagorean theorem, guys. I'm going to write my r squared on this side just because I want to. Okay? The distance formula is the Pythagorean theorem. The equation of a circle is the Pythagorean theorem. And I will show you today why. Because what would happen if I do this? What did I just make? What kind of a triangle?
A right triangle.
A right triangle. And this, from this point to this corner would be the x, correct? Because the x-axis goes left to right.
Mm-hmm.
And from the vertex of the right triangle, of the right angle up, would be your y because it goes up and down. Any circle, can I draw this right triangle in it?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So, if it is at the origin, 0, 0, this is my equation. Well, not everything's at the origin, is it? So the equation of a circle not at the origin. Okay? So this picture is not at the origin, correct? Because the center is clear over here. So this is not at the origin. That equation is r squared, still the radius, equals x minus h squared plus y minus k squared. Now if I erase this so you can see it. What is this point? HK. So, up here where I said the origin was at 0, 0, it is an H for the X and a K for the Y. Okay, so the center of the circle is H, comma, K. Now, through your adventure with me in the next classes you take, whether it's the next year or the next 3 years with me, any equation I ever teach you, whether it is exponential, logarithmic, quadratic, cubic, absolute value, what other ones do we do? Sine, cosine, tangent, reciprocal, circle. There's 2 more, I think. But anyway, any equation I ever teach you, there is going to be an H and a K in it. And I promise it will be there. And I promise it will do the same thing in every single function. I promise you. So if you learn now what it does, will it be easier for every single function I teach you? Yes. Okay. So the H is the movement of the center of this circle from the origin, because that's where everything would originate, correct? Left and right. The K is what? Up and down. Now, why we subtract? If I want to find the change from 0, 0 to this point, and I make a little triangle here, see that little triangle? Wouldn't I take this value minus this value? Isn't that how I find the change? Yeah. The big minus the small? On anything. If you have $20 and you spend 5, how do you find out how much money you have left? 20 minus 5, correct? So why am I taking X minus H? Because I'm taking and finding their difference. Because that's the change, correct? Okay, so, and I go up the same way. That's when we went through the distance formula. I described it to you. Because the distance formula, we had x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Exactly this, wasn't it? And the square root came from getting rid of the what? Square. So I'm trying to show you guys, just because I stuck different variables in there, am I doing anything different than we've done several times before? No. Okay? So the center will always be H and K. What do you notice about the formula? This has a what? Subtraction, and these don't. So this will be the opposite sign. So if this is negative, the center will be what? Positive. But if it is positive, the center will be negative because 2 negatives made it positive. Make sense? Okay, and we will practice it. I'm going to move this up. So it says, what is the radius and the center of the circle of this equation? So here's my equation, yes? Okay, so this says r squared. And I have 25. So how do I find the radius? 25 equals what? 25 equals what? 25 equals what? R squared. So then I take the what of it? Then I take the square root. So R would equal plus or minus 5, but can it be plus or minus? Why not? It can't be negative because radius is a distance. So the radius is 5. Now I'm going to keep reminding you that it is technically plus and minus 5 because sometimes it will be both answers. Not on radius, but in some instances in math, it will be both answers. So I'm not going to just ignore that it's there. Does that make sense to you? Okay, so it would do you good to put plus or minus and then just circle the 5 or underneath it write 5. Okay? Will it ever be the negative on a radius? No. But could it be negative to an answer just to some random equation? Yes. Okay, so I got the radius. Now I need the center of the circle. So remember, center is H comma K, correct? Mm-hmm. So the H, remember X is horizontal, isn't it? Yeah. So remember H stands for horizontal. And if H is horizontal, K has to be vertical. I don't really know why it's H and K. It is. H does go with horizontal. So it's opposite sign. So this is negative 2. So the center is
Positive.
positive 2, comma, 3.
Are we just writing in the equation?
Right now it just says find the radius and the center. That's all it's asking. So here's the center and here's the radius. And you do need to label. R stands for radius, so I don't need to write radius, do I? But center,
Has to be wrote down.
you need to, there's no abbreviation for center. You can't use C because C would be circumference, right? Okay. So R squared equals what?
13.
13. So I have to take the
Square root.
square root.
Which should just be R equals 13.
So R equals plus or minus the square root of 13. Can I simplify the square root of 13? Nope. So R equals the square root of 13. Because will it ever be negative for a radius?
No.
Nope.
And then the center of the circle is positive 6, but negative 5.
Why is it negative 5, Tristan?
Because the K is a positive in that equation, so it has to be a negative
Right.
originally.
This is a positive here, and the equation says negative K. So the only way a negative becomes a positive is if it is a what? Negative.
Negative.
Make sense? Okay, questions on that? Okay. So now we're going to write the equation. Here we deciphered the equation. Now I'm going to go from a picture to the equation. Got it? So every time you do that, you should probably rewrite the equation. So put your hand over the equation. You can leave these here if you want, so you can see it, but I want you to put your hand over the equation. So how does this equation start?
Radius squared.
So R squared equals
X minus H
H squared, and you got to have parentheses, right?
plus
Plus
Y minus
K squared. So would it do you good to write that on your paper? Yes. Would it do you good every time to write it on your paper? Yes. And this is basically C squared equals A squared plus what? B squared. Okay? So now we're going to fill it in. Well, what is R? Looking at this picture. Yes, it is radius. What is it? Radius, guys. How are you getting 6?
Oh.
Radius is where?
In the middle.
It's from here to here, yes? Well, if this is 2 and this is 4, where's the dot at?
In the middle.
3. Okay? There was a grid there. You can kind of see it, but it's not there. Okay? So radius, how are we going to find the radius? This is, it goes from,
By 2. Wait. Oh, sorry.
okay, its center is 3. It hits the circle at 6. How are you going to find the radius, guys? You're going to subtract. 6 minus 3 equals 3. Write that down. Don't just write 3. Why would you not just write 3?
Just you don't know how you do it.
Because you don't know how to get it, and your notes aren't going to do you any good at home, right? Okay, so the next thing we need for this is the center, yes?
Yes.
So I need the center. So where's the center at? Yeah, the middle, but where is that point?
3.
3 what? The point.
3, 0.
3, 0. The X, the Y. You need the point, don't you? Okay, so this is my H, and this is my K. So write H above it, write K above it, or underneath it. I don't care. So now am I ready to fill it in my equation?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so R squared, so 3 squared equals X minus
Minus
3 squared
plus, plus,
plus Y
Y
minus 0. And we're going to go ahead and put it in there, and then we're going to simplify it.
Square.
Okay. Oh, squared. I forgot my squared. Thank you. Okay, so 3 squared is 9 equals x minus 3 squared. And can't I just put y squared?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we wouldn't put minus 0 in an equation, would we? No. An equation has to have an x and a y in it. It can't just have an x in it. Well, it can, but it doesn't. Not unless it's a vertical line. Okay. We good?
Is that the answer?
Is that what it tells me to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. It says, write the equation of the circle. Did I write the equation of the circle?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, next one. Oh, this didn't. Okay. I have 1 point here, and I'm assuming that is at
1.
-3, -1. Would you? Okay. And then this point is at -4, -4.
Yes.
Okay. Now in your book, you're going to be able to see the grid. Here you can't. But we can also see it here. I mean, it's pretty obvious. That's where it's at. Okay, so some things might be a little harder.
What did we do with the last one?
What?
On the other equation, when we found it, what did we do with the one that was like -2, 1? On the last one.
Oh, we didn't do anything with it. Because we could see that it was from here to here because we were on. Oh, shoot. We're going to leave it that way. But when I look at this picture, is it really touching 0, 0? No, it's not. So we should have done what we're going to do right now. I made an assumption and I shouldn't have. Okay, since this isn't touching 0, 0, could I really say that this is 3? No. Actually, we should have used 1, -2 and found the distance. And we didn't do it. So we're going to do it on this one. Okay? Bree? Okay. So, what can we tell? Radius or center? Right now. The center. Right now we can see the center, yes? Okay, so the center is what?
3,
-3, -1. Okay, there's the center. I can tell that, right? But I can't tell the radius because it's not exactly like this. The center isn't on a vertice, is it? Like, not vertice, axis is what I meant. If it was on the x-axis or the y-axis, because could I just see how far it is to the edge of the circle?
Yeah.
Yeah. It might be a good number, it might not be a good number, but it would be easier. So, we talked about we could make a what triangle?
All right.
A right triangle, couldn't we? So the right triangle that we have from the center to a point on this graph. So this point was -3, -1, correct? And this point is -4, -4. So that's that point. And that's that point. So R is going to be this side of that triangle, isn't it? That's the radius of the circle? Everyone follow what's going on? Okay, so we know a squared plus b squared equals c squared, right? So do you think we can use that to find the length of R? Yes? Okay, so we're just going to put R squared, because that's where it would start, correct? So if this is -4 for my x, and this is -3 for my y, how far is it from here to here?
1.
It's 1. If this is -4 and this is -3, the difference between -4 and -3 is what? 1. This is 1. Now, if this is -1 for the y, and this is -4 for the y, what's the y? 3. Everybody following how we did that? The difference in the y's is 3. The difference in the x's is what? 1. Do I need to worry about a positive or a negative? No, it's just how long is this? Got it? So we're going to use r squared equals x squared plus y squared, or the Pythagorean theorem. Got it? So if I just want r, I have to take the what? How do you get rid of the square? Square root. Yes? Okay, so what were my x's? 1. So 1 squared plus, what's my y? 3. So 3 squared. So 1 squared is 1. 3 squared is 9. So I'm pretty sure r is going to equal the square root of 10. You following? Okay. So we now have r, and we have our center. Do we have what we need to write my equation? Yes. Okay, so what is my equation again? R squared equals
X minus H squared. Plus Y plus, or Y minus K squared.
y minus k squared. Good job. So -3 is what variable out of this? R, H, or K? H. And -1 is K. And square root of 10 is radius. So now I plug it in, right? So I have the square root of 10 squared equals x plus 3. Why is it plus 3?
Because it's opposite.
Because it's a negative times a a negative times a negative made it a positive. I want, like, yes, it is the opposite sign. We know it's the opposite sign, but what math makes it the opposite sign? Okay? Plus
Y plus 1 squared.
y plus 1 quantity squared. Why is it plus? Because a negative and a negative made it positive. So we're good over here simplifying it, but should we simplify this?
Yeah.
Yes? So the square root of 10 squared is just 10. So 10 equals x plus 3. Can you still see? Am I off? Nope. Squared plus y plus 1 squared. Are these going to take you a little time? Yes. Sometimes and sometimes not. Some of them, they'll just say the radius is here and the center is here, and you just plug it in. And sometimes you have to figure it out. So, again, what did we mess up over here? We assumed what?
That it was touching 0, 0.
And it's not touching 0, 0, is it? So if it gives me a point, should I have used that point and done this over here? Yes. Okay, because if I assume, and actually it's not, this is the square root of 8, which would be 2 squared of 2. So I messed that one up, didn't I? But, you know, it's okay. We'll just act like it's there. So we just have more examples. So this is just different ways they can word it. It says circle Q. You always name circles by the center. So this picture would look like this. Okay? That's how you always name them. And the abbreviation for a circle is this. That means circle Q.
Looks like a target.
It does. Okay, so circle Q has a radius of 7 and is centered at the origin. Does the point -3 square root of 2, 5 lie on, what's that say? Circle Q. Oh, I should have just shown you that, right? Okay, so if it's the origin, that's my HK, what is it? 0, 0. So I probably need to write an equation and then check if this works, right? Okay, so without looking at the other side, can you guys give me my equation?
X plus
Minus H squared plus.
y minus k squared.
Now, are these parentheses important, guys? Yes, because that means you do the subtraction first, then square it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's plug in what I have. So 7 is what variable? H, R, or K? R. And then this 0 is H, and this 0 is K. So I'm going to plug it in here and make an equation for me. So R squared, 7 squared, bless you, equals X minus, what's H? 0 plus, squared plus Y minus 0 squared. So my,
Do 7 squared equals x squared plus y squared.
so 49 equals X squared plus Y squared. So if this point is on this circle, when I plug it in there, X squared plus Y squared is going to equal what? 49. Well, negative 3 square root of 2 is the X, and 5 is the Y. So let's plug it in. So 49 equals negative 3 square root of 2, not 5. 5 is the next thing. I had a 5 stuck in my head. Sorry. 2 squared plus 5 squared.
So they should equal 49.
It should, if it is on the circle, they should equal 49, right? Just like on your test you guys had, is this a right triangle? You did A squared plus B squared equals C squared, right? If it worked, it was. If it didn't, it wasn't. Okay, now we need to remember how to do this. I square both, yes? So what is negative 3 squared? 9. And what's the square root of 2 squared? 2. Plus 25. Okay? So 9 times 2 is 18 plus 25. I already know it's not going to equal 49, is it? No. Okay, so I've got 13, carry 1 is 43. That's a weird 43. So I have 49 equals 43. Is that true?
No.
Nope. So you cross it out and you say negative 3 square root of 2, 5 is not on circle Q. And that would be your answer. And all of this other stuff would be your work, wouldn't it? Tristan, head up. Okay, so we're going to have another one. You guys want to try it on your own? No?
Yeah.
Want to try it? Okay. Determine whether each point lies on the given circle. Circle with center at the origin and a radius of 2 square root of 5. So you got to write your equation first and then plug it in. Well, you can see your own paper, I guess. There's actually 2 of them. Do you want to do one more? Oh, I'll start this one quicker. If it lies on the origin, do you have to go through the whole process here? If it lies on the origin, it's automatically going to be what? X squared plus Y squared. So that can help you out, save some time. I'm gonna still name it Circle Q, so I don't have to write out more words.
I'm not sure we got it right on the Wait.
Yeah, just do that one. We'll do the next one together.
I decided wrong.
Okay, so does this one lie on Circle Q if we name it Circle Q again?
Yes.
Yes, because 20 equals 20. Okay, what's different about the next example?
Like the center's different?
The center's different. So do I have to go through this whole process then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so then that's going to be r squared equals x minus h squared plus y minus k squared. I just went fast.
Yep.
Okay, so r is 3 square root of 3 squared equals x minus,
Okay.
no, 2, not k, h squared plus y minus 4 squared. Okay, so 3 squared is 9 times 3, 27. So my equation is 27 equals x minus 2 squared plus y minus 4 squared. This time it didn't simplify nice, did it? But am I still going to just plug in x and y?
That was very fast.
What was very fast? I went.
You just did it very fast.
Okay.
But I mean, I get
Okay.
it, but
So 6 is my x and 3 is my
Why?
y. So I have 27 equals 6 minus 2 squared plus 3 minus 4 squared. So 27 equals, well, 6 minus 2 is,
4
so 4 squared plus
minus 1.
negative 1 squared. Okay. So hopefully you can already tell me no, right? So 4 squared is 16. Negative 1 squared is 1. So 27 equals 17. Nope. So 6 comma 3 is not on circle Q. And you could put just the circle, right? But I wanted you to get used to that.
These are pretty much just plugging stuff.
Yes. You need to know R. What's R?
Radius.
Radius. And you need to know H and K. What's H? It's the H is the X, yes? Of the vertex. And K is the Y. And you need to know this, yes? So if you know this, you're just plugging it in and finding what they don't have, correct? Okay. I'm going to